Hey everyone, it's Money Mike here, and today we are going to be bank strap hunting $2 bills. We have $600 worth, 3 teller straps. Now, normally I don't get the chance to hunt $2 bills because either A, the bank doesn't have them, B, the bank has them, but they don't even have a full strap's worth, or C, they have full straps, but they're uncirculated, so not much of a hunt at that point. So I seized the opportunity. I have 3 straps, which appear to be both circulated and uncirculated mixed in. And I see different years on top. We have a 2017, 2013, 2003. So I'm going to be looking for cool serial numbers, star notes. Pay attention to the older bills from maybe there's 76, 95, 2003, 2009, mixed in, and maybe I can find some uncirculated ones. And I'll pay attention to errors. So we'll see what we can find. I'll hunt each strap off camera, and if I find anything cool, I will bring you guys back in. All right, let's get started. All right, some pretty cool stuff in strap 1. I've laid everything out in rows by year, and then I've broken those up by district just to kind of make sense of everything. And then I have a few notes here I want to go over first. One being a star note. So what a cool way to start out the strap with a star note. It's exactly the type of thing I was hoping to find when I got these straps. So we have an L District 2013. Hopping over to my currency collection, here's the run size, about 1.28 million. Total printed, little over 1.4 million. Now, why is it estimated? BEP listed this run ending at that serial number, but higher serial numbers have been found. Exact run size is not known. Okay, well, regardless, just want to reference a price guide just to kind of get a gauge on the value of this. So an L District on 2013, hopping over to a price guide, 2013 L District, San Francisco, $20 uncirculated. This one's not quite uncirculated. It's got a little bit of creasing and some smudging up there. It's not going to get top premium, but there's still some value behind it. I think that's pretty cool. And for that matter, too, the price guide is just that, a guide. Usually in my experience, I see things go for a little bit higher than what I do in this book. So I just use that as a reference really to kind of start with. But moving on from that star note, here's a scattered ladder serial number. If we arrange those digits in order from least to greatest, it's got 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, which makes the ladder. So a cool little find there. Now I'm going to move on to the years, starting with the oldest that I found. 1976. So this is really cool that I found 3 1976. It's unfortunate that this one is all marked up, but this one has a little light creasing. This one, however, uncirculated. So what a cool find that was. If we hop over to the price guide on the B District for 1976, just to quickly take a look, they're calling out a price of about $9. So that's a cool find there. If we check out the I District, if that was uncirculated, the Minneapolis, they're calling out about a $15 price point. So even though it's got, some slight circulation, there's still some value behind these 2 notes here, including that star note. And this one, unfortunately, probably won't be too valuable with all the stamps on it, but as you would know if you watch my other videos, I enjoy collecting any bills that are from the 90s or older, regardless of them having stamps on them or being in poor condition. So just like the bill above it, it's got this $ stamp on it from 1995. I'll still hold on to these. I just like collecting them. But had they been an uncirculated condition, what would the price guide call out for these? 1976L, well, that would have been about $11. And then the 95F would have been about $5. So now I want to move over to the years that I separated everything into, starting with 2003. Now, here's the I District. I found 1 uncirculated, maybe half a dozen circulated. Okay, so I District for 2003, Minneapolis, uncirculated would be $5. They had about 121 million printed. Now these circulated ones, they probably wouldn't fetch too much over face value, if that. So let's move on to the 2003 A's. We have the F, J, K, and L. Everything's circulated, but 2003 A, we had F, J, K, and L. So those first three, what I really like about those is they have a really low print number on them. So it's got 19 million, 12, and 12, 12.8, 12.8, and 19.2. So even though they're only calling out a $5 uncirculated condition, they're doing the same thing for something that has 190 million total printed. So I don't necessarily agree with the valuation on those. I would think that there's less of these available, so they'll probably have a little bit of a higher premium to them. So that's what I like about these, even though that they're circulated. This L district here, $25 uncirculated at 64 million total printed. There's maybe 5 of them here that are circulated. So even though they're circulated, there's still some value behind these ones. So really cool finds right there as well. Moving over to 2009, again, we have circulated bills from B, F, and L. 2009, B, 12.8 million, F, 12.8 million, and L, you get 38 million. All called out about a $5 uncirculated condition, but again, going back to that low print number on 12.8 million, even this is low compared to hopping back over to like Minneapolis at 121 million or the Richmond at 190 million. You know, we're at about 1/6 the amount printed for San Francisco on the 2009. And so I still like those numbers that they have low print numbers, even though they're not uncirculated. I'm still inclined to hold on to the ones that have the low print numbers. Moving on to 2013, again, uncirculated bills. We have E, F, K, and L. Some of them are pretty close to being uncirculated, but they have some real slight creasing in them. So E, F, K, and L, 2013. There we go, 12.8 million, 32 million, 38 million, and 51 million. So again, they're calling out about a $4 value uncirculated for these, but some of these have some really, low print numbers and pretty decent shape as well. Like I said, not completely free of the creases or folds, very minor, but still inclined to hold on to the ones, especially that have the print number of around 12.8 million. Okay, now moving on to the 2017 here. All these are circulated except for a few down here from the L district. The price guide doesn't even have the L district listed in it yet because they're still printing. They don't have those numbers. So all we can do here is reference the B, the E, G, H, and J for 2017A. So the B, there's a bunch of those, 256 million. We have E, Richmond, 12.8 million. We had G, Chicago, 12.8 million. And then we had H, St. Louis, only 6.4 million. So that's a pretty low number there. And then we also had J, 6.4 million. So again, even though these ones are circulated, really low print numbers on them. So again, don't really agree with the $4 valuation on uncirculated, considering they give that same valuation to New York, which has 256 million total printed. So I'm more inclined to hold on to the bills that have the low print numbers, and maybe things like New York, the circulated New York that have 256 million, I probably wouldn't be inclined to hold on to these. So anyways, that wraps up strap number 1. Let's get into strap number 2 and see what else we can find. Okay, some pretty cool stuff in strap number 2. I laid it out just like strap 1, and we're gonna go ahead and start with 3 star notes. How about this? 2 of them in sequential order, then it skips a couple of numbers and goes to the next bill. Unfortunately, these 2 seem to have gotten a little bit creased and folded up in the strap. They don't really look like they're out in circulation necessarily, but that is a bummer. This one does look like it is close to being uncirculated, but there might be some real minor creasing in it as well. Anyway, hopping over to my currency collection, we can see it's got a run size 1.28 million and total printed 1.44 million. So that goes for all three. They're all in the same run. We don't have a reference on the price guide because remember the L district for 2017 is not in there. Anyway, really cool finds on these. So happy to have come across those. Moving on to the next serial number here. We've got the 4 repeating digits in a row, quad ones. I really enjoy collecting anything with 4 or more repeating digits. It is unfortunate, it's got some folding, but nonetheless, a pretty fun find there. Next bill, you can see those repeating 6 5s. It happens 3 times. If it would have happened 4 times, that would have been called a super repeater, and it's about 1 out of every 1.11 million bills printed is a super repeater. So that would have been really cool. It's not one of those, but it's still a nice find. Moving on to the next couple of bills, we've got triple pairs, and then we've got a couple of scattered ladders, and then we have a trinary. So now we're going to move on to the dates, and we're going to start with 1976. Found 2 of those uncirculated. So if we hop over to the price guide, uncirculated for D District, Cleveland, 31 million printed, $9 they're calling out. And for the next bill, we have another 95, F District. It is circulated, but had it been uncirculated, the F District, they are calling out $5. And now we're going to hop over to the 2003. And we found some of these Minneapolis 2003 in the last bunch. That's mainly where they're printed. 2003 Minneapolis, 121 million, $5 uncirculated. It's not quite uncirculated. There is some minor creasing in it. Moving on to the 2003 A's, we've got all circulated, but we have E, J, K, and L. And here's the 2003s. So if we go to the E, bunch of those, the K, 12.8 million, San Francisco, 64 million, and what else did we have? A J, I think, 12.8 million. So the 2 that are 12.8 million, those stand out, and of course, the San Francisco, the L, when they're calling out that $25 for the uncirculated, these are circulated, of course, but you know, there's probably still some value to them depending upon whether or not they're not completely trashed. So I found a handful of those anyway. So now we're going to move on to the 2009, and we've got a B, an F, and K district. So the 2009, the B, we have New York, F, Atlanta, and K, Dallas. So, you know, 12.8 million on 2 of them, and then 32 million on the New York. Still a low print number, so I'll still consider holding on to those. Hopping over to the 2013, we have F, K, and L. Now on the F, these actually were uncirculated, and I have about a half dozen or so of those. So on 2013, if we go to F Atlanta, 32 million, they're calling out about $4 for the uncirculated. And then the K and the L, it's going to be the same thing, $4 uncirculated. However, I'm just looking for the total printed. K, Dallas, is going to be 38 million. L, San Francisco, is going to be about 51 million. So a little bit higher on those total printed, but in comparison to some of the other districts in other years, it's still a low print number when you look at it that way. Now, moving on to 2017, I found A, G, and K all uncirculated. K, there's 20 of them. G, there's a few, and A, there's 1. So A, you can see 6.4 million only for Boston. And then if we move to G, that's Chicago, we've got 12.8 million. And then we've got a K, and we're gonna find K, there it is, Dallas, 12.8 million again. So they're all calling out for about $4 uncirculated. And like I said, there's probably about 25 of them right here that are uncirculated. So that's pretty awesome. And then we've got B, D, E, G, and K and L, all circulated. The B district is going to be the most printed, 256 million. So those aren't any that I'm going to be holding on to. Then the D Cleveland is 12.8 million. The E Richmond, 12.8 million. The G Chicago, 12.8 million, and K, 12.8 million for Dallas. So some of these are pretty close to being uncirculated, but again, even though that they are circulated, except for maybe this one here, because this one has a bunch of marker on it, I'll probably be inclined to hold on to them because they have some low print numbers. So anyway, that is strap number 2. Let's get into the last strap, strap number 3, and see what else we can find. All right, strap number 3, we have them all laid out here. Some cool finds again. No star notes, unfortunately, but we're gonna start with these cool serial numbers. We've got those quad zeros in sequential order and uncirculated. So cool find there. Now we're gonna go ahead and move on to the dates. We'll start with the oldest, go to newest. So there's 3/1976. Another cool serial number with those quad 9s. If we take a look at those L district and F district on the price guide, we can see 9 uncirculated and 11 uncirculated. So even though they're circulated, they're still gonna hold some value. So really nice finds there. Then next 5 bills are gonna be all from 1995 from the F district. They're circulated. This last serial number is a scattered ladder, but the price guide is calling for the uncirculated version at about a $5 price point. So moving on to the 2003A, we've got a D, F, and L. They're all circulated. So the D, 19 million, the F, 19 million, both at $5 uncirculated. The L, 64 million, 25 uncirculated. So they're still gonna hold some value, especially this L district note. Moving on to 2009, again, all circulated B, G, K, and L. So 2009, B, G, K, and L. So we've got 2 at 12.8 million. San Francisco's 38 million, New York's 32 million, all at a $5 price point if uncirculated. But again, I'll be inclined to hold on to those lower print numbers. Moving on to the 2013, all circulated again. We have the C, E, G, I, K, and L. So the C, 6.4 million, so that's pretty low. And then we have E, 12.8 million, another fairly low one. G, 12.8 million, another low one. I, 6.4 million. K, 38 million, and then L, 51 million. So several of them with some pretty low production numbers, so I will be inclined to hold on to those. Now moving on to the 2017, E and H, about a half dozen of those, and I think about 40 or so of those, all uncirculated. So the guide's going to call out a $4 price point for E and H, 12.8 million, and then H, 6.4 million. So pretty nice one there, and that's the one I found about 40 of them uncirculated. And now moving on to the circulated version, C, E, H, I, and L. So the C, 6.4 million. The H, we've got St. Louis at 6.4 million. And I think we had an E, Richmond, 12.8 million. We have an I in Minneapolis. Now the 6.4 million, this one stands out at $20 uncirculated. So there's some value behind that one. Even though it's circulated, it's still in decent shape. And then again, there's those L's, which we don't have anything in the price guide to reference. So there we go. Some pretty awesome finds in those 3 straps of $2 bills. As always, thank you so much for watching, and we will catch you on the next one.